What's up, guys? It's Hugh here, back in another video. And in this one, as you can see, I'm going to be answering the most searched questions on Google about bass fishing. And that's all there really is to it. I got a big list on my phone that I got. And let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first one I got was, what's the worst bass fishing conditions? And I think I looked up worst bass fishing, and this is the first one that popped up. Worst bass fishing conditions, in my opinion, are like overcast, post frontal, high pressure. That's probably the worst I can think of. Next question: worst bass fishing lure. I don't know. I don't think. Okay, I don't think there's such thing as a worst bass fishing lure, because I think every lure. I mean, maybe there's a couple out there haven't caught fish. Every lure has caught a fish at a certain point in time, based off of that certain fish attitude and the conditions, like the weather or whatever time of year it is or whatever. I think every lure is good at a certain point in every year, and every lure has its time to shine. Best bass fishing lure. Again, I don't know if it exists. I'll give my opinion. My opinion, best bass fishing lure you can get is a Ned rig, because fish will eat it when they're aggressive, and they'll eat it when they aren't aggressive. That's just, and it works year round. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't think you can beat a Ned rig, honestly. Um, Also, I don't know if you can see it, but my lips are just so freaking chapped, like all around here. It's it's windburn, and I don't know. That's not real fun. Next question is, what's the best bass bait for ponds? Uh, I would say probably a wacky rig stick bait, wacky rig Senko, and the reason I say this is because every pond I've been to and caught fish, I've caught at least one of them off of that. It's a lure that just, I don't know what it is, but it catches pond fish and flukes. Flukes work really, really well too in ponds. That's just my opinion. I see a lot of people catching big pond fish on chatterbaits. I don't know, chatterbaits aren't my thing, but let's see. The next question is, best bass fishing lakes in Texas. Now, this is all based on opinion. Um, in my opinion, uh, okay, I would say my favorite lake is Lake Livingston, which is a horrible lake in most people's opinions. Not a lot of fish in there typically, but I've just gotten really lucky to grow up on the lake, and I've caught a lot of bass on it. But I think the best one, statistic wise, is Lake Fork. It holds the most records out of any lake in the state of Texas. But don't expect to just be able to show up to Lake Fork and catch a giant bass. I caught my personal best there, but I was with someone who's very experienced whenever I went. I didn't just show up and start fishing it. It's one of the hardest lakes that I know of to fish, because it's just the way the lake's built, but it's full of big fish if you can find them. It's just really hard to locate fish. Is bass fishing good in the winter? Um, okay, this is a little bit, um, what's the word? This is a very debatable statement, because it depends on where you're at. So, uh, I would say in general, it's okay, like on an average. Because in some places it's horrible, some places it's really good. For example, during this huge Texas freeze, there was literally like a 50-pound bag of fish caught um, by Milliken Fishing. I think that's how you pronounce it. I didn't watch the full video, but I do know that there was multiple double digits caught in that video, and that was in the coldest part of the year in Texas, like super, super, super freezing cold. So I wouldn't say it's bad, but it is a lot harder to catch fish. But you can't catch some giants, and I think that's actually um, on Toledo Bend. My dad caught a 7.5 pounder in super, super cold water last year. So I think it all just depends on the conditions, but cold water can hold really good fish. Is bass fishing good in the rain? Okay, this depends on where you're at, but for me, I've caught a lot of fish in the rain, and I've also caught them. I've caught most of them right after rain though, so I think it's just okay during the while it's raining. But I think sometimes that weather switch really turns the fish on and gets them biting good. So I wouldn't say it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's amazing either. So overall, it's good. It's a reliable source. Like if it starts pouring, I wouldn't say go home immediately unless it's like lightning and stuff. Um, you could catch a fish, because that that weather change could trigger a bite. No doubt about it. Is bass fishing good at night? Okay, I've seen some of the biggest bass on social media caught at night. So I wouldn't know for sure because I've never fished at night. Actually, I have, but it's different. So like I've bass fished at night, but it was like I was out there fishing and it got dark before I got off the pond, and I ended up losing probably one of the biggest fish I've ever seen in that body of water. And it was like it was dark at that point. So I don't know. But I think it's good. What I've noticed is, or what I've heard, is the fish hug up against the shore, so you're more likely to catch them from the bank at nighttime. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that, and I've seen a lot of big fish caught off the bank at night. So, I don't know for sure. That's just what I've heard. Is bass fishing a sport? Okay, so bass fishing is a sport if you make it one, just with anything. So, let's take cheerleading, for example. Cheerleading is a sport if you're going to competitions that like lead to state and nationals and stuff like that. That's a sport. That is technically a sport. Bass fishing is only a sport if you are in tournaments giving prizes to winners. That's the only situation where it's a sport. That's the only situation where any fishing is a sport. And that's just my opinion, but I wouldn't call it a sport. It's more of a hobby unless you're doing it for a prize. Where do bass go in winter? Okay, this is a good one. I've actually explained this in one of my videos, how to catch cold water bass, and I go really in depth, so I'm not going to completely answer this, but I'm going to say like partially deep water. And you can go check out that video and you'll see some really, really good stuff in there. It's full of detail. I think it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes long. There's lots and lots of details in there, so I'd go check it out if I were you. And yeah, so that's all the questions I could get off of Google. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, my lips probably look really puffy and weird. My smile probably looked dumb. I can't tell, but I feel really awkward because I got windburn and it really chapped up my lip area. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you liked it. That was all for today. And just let me know if there's anything you want to see, and drop down your opinions on everything I answered down below. Let me know if I said something wrong, if I said something that you liked or didn't know. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm set on overdrive.